Hello, everybody, and welcome here live from The Hague, where we're broadcasting this very special edition from the Sound and Vision Museum in The Hague. And my name is Olga Golubova from the Hague Convention Bureau. I'm going to be the co-host for the coming hour. And next to me is my colleague, Tadeya.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tadeya Puskudizere, and I'm the sales team lead at the Hague Convention Bureau. Together with Olga, we're looking forward to hosting you for the next hour. This year has been a challenging year for all of us, but it was also a year of many innovative and creative solutions. Also, at the Hague Convention Bureau, we had to rethink our offering and come with adequate solutions for our clients as well as partners in the city. The meetings industry has evolved rapidly over the past couple of months, and partnerships have proven to be important in this process. So, Olga, in the last webinar, you have mentioned that The Hague is working on something new. Tell us more about it.
Yes, indeed. There was a little cliffhanger back a couple of months ago, and we've been working hard behind the scenes to establish something new and concrete for the clients. We have deepened our understanding of partnerships. Actually, if you remember, in the past webinars that we've had this year here in The Hague, we've already talked about the hybrid events and the viability of the hybrid events, and this concept has seen quite an uptake this year, of course, as we all know. But also we have deepened our partnership with one of the convention bureaus that we've already had. So we're going to talk more about that today and how it came to be in this hybrid city alliance and what the offering is exactly about. Before we dive into this deeper, I just want to remind to you all that please ask your questions during the webinar as usual in the Q&A box of the Zoom. And our Hybrid Alliance team is going to be working behind the scenes to reply to these questions. And you can always address them also to us later. So please be interactive and communicate with us. Now, before we're going to dive deep in the Hybrid City Alliance, let's hear from an international association who has done this concept before.
James, I have a pleasure to introduce you. With us on the screen, we have James Reese. James is the president of the International Congress and Convention Association, also known as ICA. It is an association that brings together meeting professionals from all over the world. Hello, James.
Good afternoon, Tadeya, and everybody watching today. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and congratulations on bringing this all together.
Thank you. It is great to have you here. I know that ICA also stands for Innovation, Thought Leadership, and this year, same as other associations, also yourself, you have faced with the questions how to bring and organize an event that is highly engaging and, providing the right platform for delegates and members to learn. So we have a lot of questions for you because we know that it was a very successful event, and you tried something that we have not seen before. You have brought people together from online, so you created a hybrid hub event so people could join either online or they could travel to any of the hubs around any destinations around the world to join in person. So we have questions for you. When did you realize that you need to rethink how you're going to bring and organize the event this year, and how did the idea of hybrid hub event come about?
Well, the simple answer is at the start of March this year. Obviously, during January and February, we were all becoming aware that the pandemic was going to be something that could affect the planet, not just a certain region. And at that time, we were already planning our Congress for November. But we realized at that time that it would be affected, and we couldn't have a business as usual Congress. Simply a realization. Our Congress destination this year was in Taiwan, in an amazing city called Kaohsiung. And we realized many of our members would simply not be able to travel. So at a board meeting in March, we discussed the plans, the opportunities, but at that point we realized that ICA members value more than anything its annual congress. It is an event that members aspire to attend, and we had to do something that would bring in an element of face-to-face. So at that point, we decided to say, right, let's plan for face-to-face, because at the time, at the start of March, we thought the virus might have gone by late summer and we would be okay. So let's plan for face-to-face, but let's have a plan B, if you like, that could be either hybrid or fully virtual if required. And then we ended up, of course, with our amazing hybrid congress. We had record-breaking attendance, 1,500 attendees. The previous, on the panel today, we have the previous record holder in Prague, 1,250 delegates, which was an amazing congress. And importantly, 900 attendees were digital online, but 600 were in person, both in Kaohsiung and around the world. So it really was a great success story, and we were very proud of the achievement.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can say that I have attended the Congress as well, virtually, unfortunately, because we were not allowed to travel at that stage. So it was still very nice and engaging to meet, even if it was online. So thank you for providing us with that. Going ahead, what have you learned when organizing such an event, and why was this type of concept really the right one for ICA? I know, since I attended the conference, also about the protocol that you have created. So how did all came about, and what are the added value of hybrid hub events?
The first thing we learned was the importance of as an organization, we in the ICA family, we're often looking to partner with organizers to come to our venues, our destinations. But on this occasion, we were the client. And it was important that we as the client and our host destination had a tangible outcome, a legacy outcome for the event. And we felt that this year that was going to be more important than ever. And of course, for those ICA members, you may already have had the opportunity to see this. This is the Kaohsiung Protocol. This is my personal copy here. That was something right at the start. We decided that this, because it was going to be likely with a virtual or digital element, we needed to have something. And the idea really was around in London, in my day job at Excel, we've hosted an event, the G20 summit in the past, where world leaders come together. And at the end of any of those political events, there is an official signing of a document that gives a declaration on what the organization will do. And because of the nature of the pandemic and what this was doing to our industry, we felt that ICA needed to stand up with its destination and say, here is what we've worked on, this is the future of our industry. And so in answer to your question, what did we learn? That whole partnership and the fact that events should be about legacy outcomes was really, really important. The second really very important takeout I would share is the importance of having the right partners. ICA has so much expertise amongst its membership, and at the board level, we decided that we would invest perhaps more than others might do in making sure we had the very top support. So we worked with the PCO in Taiwan, in Kaohsiung, is part of the Marit's Global Events group. We worked with them on the concept and the meeting design, and that helped bring forward this 6-week program. So it wasn't simply an event that happened over 2 to 3 days. We had a whole series of discussions and webinars and debates in advance of the event. And then finally, linked to that, partnering the right organizations, our technical support was supplied by actually a UK-based organization, DRP Global. And they were the technical, if you like, the glue that brought together all of the various elements of this hub concept to make sure that wherever you were, virtually, digitally, or in person at one of the hubs, you were always connected at studio quality. And I think the result and the feedback from attendees at the quality and the professionalism of the Congress were down to that decision to partner with a very, very professional organization who knew and had many years of strategy and experience in the technical area.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. ICA is organizing several events per year, of course, Congress being the most important. What are your future plans with regards to hybrid and hub events? Did you already make any decisions on how to continue next year?
Well, we haven't made any final decisions. Our next board meeting will be early in the new year, and that will be a debate at the board level. But so far, from the feedback from both board members and ICA members beyond, there was a sense that actually the hybrid element enhanced the Congress experience. I attended the ICA UK and Ireland chapter meeting a week or so after the Congress, and one of the attendees from a bureau in Ireland, it was her first ever ICA Congress. So she didn't have anything to measure against, for those of us who've been in Prague or Dubai or the many other destinations that we've been lucky to go to. And she said it was it was the best best conference she's attended. She made loads of connections. The education was world class. And so I think the element of the discussions in advance of the Congress, which are best served through digital connectivity, I believe will be something the board seeks to do for our Congress in Cartagena in Colombia in 2021, because I do believe that whole digital experience helped generate more conversations than one would normally have the opportunity to do in person. But I think that we could do elements of hybrid in advance and then bring together the final debates and high class education at the face-to-face Congress.
Absolutely.
One thing I would say today, lots of people love the ICA Congress, but everybody said, I can't wait to go back to face-to-face.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, it's also about the connections you're making, and as you mentioned, you can reach more people with the combining as well. So we're looking forward to the future and what you're going to plan for us. I have one last question for you, James. In preparations for today, we have been discussing about partnership and how important are not for everyone in the industry to bring our industry back on track, let's say it like this. How does ICA see collaborations and new alliances such as the Hybrid City Alliance that we are launching today?
I think, as you know, ICA is as an organization, it is a champion for our industry. Out of the Kaohsiung Protocol, we have learnt, I think, about a need to change some of our advocacy work. We've been perhaps guilty of being seen as an industry that is a consumer. We have a narrative that talks about economic benefit of what we do, but that is based around the consumption of room nights in hotels, taxi rides, aircraft journeys, restaurant meals, etc., etc. But what we do need to think about is legacy and the narrative to government of promoting the legacy of what these events do. So linked to that, alliances now, such as this hybrid alliance, which is going to, I believe, further advance the relevance of what meetings can do, because what we do as an industry, as you know, is we always evolve, and our events, our venues, our experiences, we mimic life. We try and, I remember back in the day, you'd go to a convention center and not be able to get a decent cup of coffee, but coffee culture in life has changed things. No. And you can get a great cup of coffee now. Our whole world revolves around our smartphones and technology, and so we we have to reflect that in the way we run our events. But alliances like this, I think ICA will embrace and wish to be involved with, because this is part of the future of our amazing industry.
Thank you very much for that. And it was great to hear your view on how the alliances are important, or partnerships are important. And thank you for sharing your experience with us today. It was great to be part of ICA, and it was great to hear more about from your end. Thank you, James, for joining us.
Thank you so much for this.
Indeed, a very exciting perspective from the International Association. Thanks for that. And now we want to go back to our concept of the Hague, of the Hybrid City Alliance. And here next to me is Bas Schot, head of the Hague Convention Bureau. Hi, Bas.
Hi, Toka.
So, yeah, we wanted to ask you actually, what happened since the last partnership webinar that we had with the Convention Bureau of Ottawa? How have you gone about this idea to create the Hybrid City Alliance?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. We started this year, as today already mentioned, with a lot of challenges. Challenges where we've seen no live event, or hardly no live events.
Yep.
And for that reason, we started to think how to leverage that. So yeah, we also seen trends on the increase of hybrid and virtual events. And that was set the basis for this alliance to think along and to create a new set of ideas.
Yes, I think that it's great that indeed such partnerships, they are walking the talk, so to speak. So on this note, I want to introduce you to Bas's counterpart, Mr. Glenn Duncan, who is here with us also from Ottawa today. Glenn is the Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer of the Ottawa Tourism Business Events. Hello, Glenn.
Hello, Olga. Good morning, everybody. Good morning from Ottawa, and good afternoon to everybody else watching or wherever you're watching from. Good to see you in The Hague. Our dear friends there in The Hague looking very festive today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Glenn. Likewise. Yes, we are now in Ottawa, actually, in a very nice winter setting. And I think that our viewers would be thrilled to hear how this alliance actually envisions this whole collaborational aspect. Could you tell us viewers a bit more? How do you envision this on a Convention Bureau level?
Yeah, we're very excited to be a part of this, actually. Boss referred to our partnership and our collaboration actually goes back a number of years. And in fact, in the fall of 2019, we formally refreshed our collaboration with The Hague with a formal MOU signed in your beautiful city. And so we continue to work on sharing intelligence and sharing leads and trusting each other to co-host events, et cetera. And as we dreamed and started to dream about what about a third city, what about a fourth, this year really threw a curveball at us, but we've reacted to now form this hybrid alliance. And you already heard Mr. James Reese talk so eloquently about what's happening with ICA and what's happening in our industry. We see this as a natural evolution into an obligation for CVBs to lead, and for DMOs, as we're sometimes called, to be a natural leader and a collaborator in our communities. You know, our fingertips are all over the sectors of the industry, but we've really shown in years past that we can bring the whole community together, and we see a role here for the CVBs to bring this forward. One of the most amazing transformations that I've seen over the last number of years is really the appetite to collaborate and not be scared to cooperate versus compete. And we're seeing that with our friends in The Hague and further abroad, but also closer to home and domestically. So who wins in that situation? It's the client that wins, because we're bringing more product offerings and more collaboration and more ideas to the table, and solving problems, we think, for the clients ultimately. So if this year has taught us anything, it's to look at it with in the spirit of collaborating and cooperating.
Thank you, Glenn. I agree. I think that from the perspective that you're mentioning, it's really good to hear that convention bureaus are taking the lead and the responsibility to bundle the powers together. And also the fact that you're mentioning it's a very client-focused solution. So on that note, I think that our viewers would be quite interested to hear, and maybe Bas can elaborate a little bit more, because I heard that this is an open alliance. So what are the criteria for the cities to join this alliance?
Basically, there are no criteria. To answer your question, no, this is an open group for any cities who wants to join and make benefit of the opportunities to collaborate on this level. So yeah, there are no specific criteria. Other than that, of course, there are cities now which already have joined. They're like-minded cities, as Glenn already mentioned a little bit. We are like-minded cities and signed already an agreement years ago. But that's open for discussion, and we hope after this launch that many cities will follow.
Absolutely, that's the whole idea. And please let me remind you that indeed, if you have any questions, please submit them in the chat box or in the Q&A, and we'll get back to that. And on that note, I wanted to ask Glenn one more question, because I heard that there is also something coming up, because the whole alliance, how this will be set up with a multi-hub solution, maybe there are some next steps to it that you can share?
Yeah, and I want to thank Foz for pointing out that this is really an open invitation for like-minded cities to come forward. In fact, you're going to hear from two incredible world-class cities coming up and presenting in this session in a few minutes. But you know, my role as the North American rep on the ICA Board of Directors is something I'm very proud of. And again, to refer back to what James was talking about, we've seen a real tangible example of this whole idea and this whole concept coming together. So I know there's a special guest coming up later. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I think it's safe to say that, you know, we're all collectively maybe a little concept and idea fatigued. And what we want to do is we want to play along with what ICA has accomplished and do more of the show me and take from concept to realization. And I think that's what your guest at the end of this session will speak about. So I won't do any more unveiling than that, but we're very much looking forward to hearing from other cities, other destinations. And of course, you can reach out to any of us at any time to discuss it further.
Thanks. You're keeping it very exciting for our viewers, I guess. Another cliffhanger. Thank you so much, Glenn, and thank you, boss.
Thank you.
But before we go back to the next city, I would like to hear from Ottawa, and actually it's a colleague of Glenn's, Teresa Gatto, who has recorded for us a great video with a client. Let's hear that video.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Ottawa, Canada's capital. I am pleased to have here with me today Betty Ann Shear, Principal ProPlan Conference and Events, to share her thoughts with us on the future of hybrid events. Betty Ann has worked with numerous international planners over the years and has executed many hybrid events over the past 9 months. Betty Ann, how do you see hybrid events evolving in the short term?
Well, firstly, Teresa, thank you so much for inviting me here today. As you know, currently we're living in a fully virtual world when it comes to the execution of our programs. But in the short term, what we're seeing is the reintroduction of the in-person audience, certainly smaller in scale, but the creation of hybrid events is what's happening, and it's fantastic.
And how do you see hybrid events evolving over the long term?
Well, I think what's exciting there is in the long term, we're going to see the return of the large scale in-person audiences. We're going to get back to those 3,000, 5,000 group sizes, but the virtual audience is here to stay. So what we're going to see is the true creation of community, true 365 communities that are going to be related to our programs. And in my opinion, that brings a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. And we're certainly looking forward to welcoming those large conferences and those delegates back into our destination as soon as it's safe to do so in the near future.
Absolutely.
And so moving forward and planning these international conferences, do you see any advantages to utilizing a hybrid alliance?
Oh, I absolutely do. I think it's a very creative and innovative solution. Knowing as a planner that I can make one phone call to Ottawa Tourism and be connected to other destinations around the world, like The Hague and Geneva, for example, is really fantastic. It's going to bring a lot of solutions into the planner toolkit.
Absolutely. And that is the purpose of it, for us to share our best practices, to pass that on to the clients. And we certainly look forward to working with you, Betty Ann, and your clients and bringing more business into all of our destinations and into Ottawa. And so thank you so much for your time and for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you, Teresa.
And thank you, Teresa, for recording this video. Teresa is Business Events Manager at Ottawa Tourism Business Events. So I think that also here in The Hague, we've heard quite some sounds that also our partners have been experimented with multi-hub events on a national level. Great to hear that on the international level, there's also rising demand for this concept. So we're happy to launch this alliance together with like-minded cities such as Ottawa.
Dear viewers, we are happy to share that, as mentioned already, that the Alliance is an open alliance. So should you wish to find more about it, please do contact us. Also, for everyone who wants to organize such an event, do contact us. You know where to find us. Email has been shared, as well as the website where you can find more information. With this in mind, we are in contact already with several cities around the world, and we had fruitful discussions. And Olga, do you know some already have joined, the like-minded cities already joined our alliance?
Wow, I'm very curious to hear who they are.
I'll give you some hints. It's a city that is located at a lake, surrounded by mountains. It has 35 associations, 250 NGOs. Rings a bell?
Yes, and if I hear about mountains, I think of Switzerland. Might it be Geneva?
That's it. Yes, indeed. We have a Geneva that has joined us. So with us, we have today Adrien Humer, Business Events Consultant at Geneva Tourisms and Conventions. Hello, Adrien.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
You also have brought a guest of yours, Olivier Crosset, who is a managing director, the Rio Group Switzerland, which is a company providing audiovisual solutions. You're going to discuss today now with us about how technically feasible is to run such an event. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So thank you, Olivier, for being here. And first of all, from your expertise, I would like to know what are like the specific aspects we need to take care of, and how do hybrid events work actually in a practical way?
Okay, I would say it works very well. We did hybrid events and also full virtual events for the last 10 years. And just this year, from the beginning of March, we produced more than 300 events in Geneva. Means we know what is working and what is not working. I would say the technology must not be a problem, because in fact today we have all the facilities, and if you have a good partner everywhere, we ask our client to forget the technology. What we need is a good infrastructure, for sure, IT infrastructure, a good AV partner, and after that, for me, the most important thing in a hybrid event is the content, because you cannot just replicate what happens on face-to-face and put that on the screen. It doesn't work, because the time of attention of the people is really very, very short for hybrid and virtual events. Means you must redesign your event. And what we do with real hybrid event, with face-to-face and digital part, is to have two different realization, in fact. A virtual event must be organized and a script like a TV show. Means the content is the key.
Thank you, yeah. And can any destination connect? Yeah, so it's international way.
No, absolutely.
Based in Geneva from your side.
Yeah. We can connect I would say every country in the world, more or less. Maybe in some very special countries could be an issue with the bandwidth, but for most part of the big cities of where we can have a congress or event, it's not an issue at all. The only problem could be the time zone, because if you have an event with people based in Asia, in US and Europe, it could be an issue. But it's why you also have to manage this part. It's time consuming. Sometimes it's more time consuming than to organize a real face-to-face event. It's very important to have the right people at the right position to be able to script all that. And you must also have very good master of ceremony, people able to do the transition between the different venues, blah, blah. But we can have, we did last year an event with more than 15 cities connected on the same time, and it works perfectly. But it's clear it's the future of our industry. It will never replace the face-to-face, but it's also for the client a new way to have more audience connected, following the event. More revenue also means it's clear in the last 6 months it was a big accelerator for the technology, but also for the knowledge about that.
Thank you very much, Olivier.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Olivier, also from The Hague. It was great to hear your perspective about possibilities, AV solutions, as well as once again today we have heard that having the right partners in place is very important in running such an event. Thank you, Olivier, for being with us, and Adrien, thank you for taking the time. It was a really great pleasure for leading these conversations, and yeah, we're looking from The Hague, looking forward to working together with you, closely together with Geneva. So, Geneva, welcome to the Alliance.
Thank you.
And here we are with another city that has joined the Alliance. Let's hear it from Prague.
As destination representatives, we would love to have all the Congress delegates attending on site. However, many delegates are for various reasons not able to attend the Congress when taking place on the other side of the world. Therefore, believe that through the hub and hybrid solutions, we are able to increase the accessibility and inclusivity, which will be relevant also in the post-pandemic time.
We believe that interpersonal networking and contacts are very essential for our members, and they help to create the contacts, new activities, and basically it is an important part of all our congresses. That we believe that for future we have to keep the way to organize the hybrid meeting.
I really believe that hybrid conferences are the future of the whole MICE industry. Not only they can attract the best personalities as speakers, but also they can enable a whole new types of content, networking and entertainment.
The multi-hub event leaves a lower carbon footprint, and if you select it with sustainable venue and suppliers, it can make a real difference to the environment.
Local Hub gives us the great opportunity to discuss topics which are relevant to the region, and therefore also to increase the scientific impact of the entire event.
We are aware that organizing a multi-hub conference is very demanding for the client because it basically means organizing multiple conferences at the same time. For this reason, we believe that active cooperation across destinations can be one of the key success factors.
Personally, I believe that to organize hybrid meetings is a good challenge for our society, but also for our members. And I believe that it is the future of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Prague, for tackling the whole 360 angles of the hybrid events. It's very interesting and informative. So many stakeholders. Now I would like to call to my colleague from Prague. He's actually the head of Convention Bureau in Prague, Mr. Roman Mushka. Hello, Roman. Nice having you.
Hello, Olga, and good afternoon from Prague to everyone.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are really embracing this concept. And you said at the beginning of the video that you're seeing it even more than a temporary solution. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yes, right. As already mentioned by Olivier from Geneva, so the hybrid events have been here in the past, in previous years as well, but they were in minority. We all are aware that the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the need of virtual or hybrid solutions. We were carefully listening to our clients in the past months. We were carefully following all the webinars, attending the virtual events, and we were really, searching for the pros and cons of these concepts. And what we found out, so there is not one single perfect solution for all the events, as there are various events and there will be various solutions for those. Many clients are saying that they are looking forward to get back to face-to-face, but on the other hand, the digital part, the virtual part will remain as we think. So we are really glad that we can be part of this new establishing alliance offering this type of solutions. So we mentioned a lot of pros and cons in the video as well. So when talking about the inclusivity, about the carbon footprint, about the possibility to attract the best speakers from the other side of the world, I think there is many good on the virtual part. So in terms of meeting face-to-face, that's something what we are all missing in the virtual world. So combining those to the hybrid solutions and talking about the hubs when it's not possible to travel around the globe. So we think that's the right way to go.
Yes, definitely. I think that some cities have already been talking about the hubs, and maybe some ideas were already playing in the minds. But now this whole situation of 2020 has just accelerated this, right? Yeah, so we also embrace this concept, and we're so thrilled to co-launch this together with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So the Hybrid City Alliance, as you have heard so far, it's really about the one-stop shop concept. And the objective, one most important objective is to provide solutions, the tailor-made solutions for the clients, as Roman has just said. We're really taking into attention what the clients need, and on a case-by-case basis, then we can see what to offer together as this whole alliance. A lot of knowledge will be shared. So let me remind you that there's an open alliance, and if you wish to have more information, please go to the website that you see here and also in the chat and in the Q&A. Please let us know if you have any additional questions. We'll be happy to answer them. And we're also taking it to the next level. As Glenn has mentioned before, there was a small cliffhanger. So maybe today I can tell a bit more. What are the next steps?
Yes, absolutely, Olga. As you know, this launch is only the beginning, so we really want to perfectionize this concept, and Glenn was mentioning we want to bring it from a concept to actually execution, so to realization. We have plans already for next year, so we already have something in our sleeves, let's say it like this. But in order to introduce you what our next steps are, let me first introduce you to Janet Bumpus. Janet, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me here. It's been a pleasure to hear all the progress that you have been making on this great concept.
Thank you, Janet, for being here. So Janet Bumpus, she's an independent consultant and facilitator. She's coming from Silicon Valley, where she was part of 3 startups. Over the years, she has been working with many world-leading companies. Just to mention a few: Boston Consulting Group, Razorfish, World Health Organization, World Bank, TechnoServe, and so forth. So, Janet, you have been involved with many startups, many corporates, helping them launch the idea and scale it from idea to business. And here we are, Alliance, Hybrid City Alliance, approaching you to help us develop our product further. What are you planning for us in the future, in the next year?
Well, I'm looking forward to, we're going to be doing a series of co-creation workshops at the end of January, the beginning of February. And these are a series of rapid learning, customer insight-driven design sessions to help formulate what the hybrid multi-hub event product could look like. The goal of these sessions is to get a diverse perspective, so from convention boards, from suppliers, and from convention organizers, so we can understand all the perspectives in order to learn more and understand how such a product can work and develop the proposition further.
Yes, it sounds really exciting. A rapid learning co-creation process. Doesn't it come from the startup world? I'm actually curious, how do you see this working within the business events and convention bureaus industry?
You are indeed correct. These approaches did originate from startups looking to move very fast. But the interesting thing is that these practices have since spread to big companies, government organizations, nonprofits, and all sorts of groups as they actually work to deliver results. So it's a fast and inclusive way to build customer input into a new product.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah, we're looking forward to this process next year. It's a good outlook. So yeah, on that note, I think that we all understand how quickly we need to adapt and how rapid we need to test and learn new concepts. And this is something that we're really excited about to take into the next year, the whole flexibility around it. So yeah.
Absolutely, Olga. And for the co-creation sessions that Janet was just mentioning, please know that if you would be interested in participating, are you a venue, AV supplier, an association, a corporate event planner, please express your interest and we'll get back to you with more information. Olga, this year has been, a very different year, let's say it like this, and it required change, adaptation, innovation for us.
Indeed, yes, and a lot of flexibility and moving fast, as we've already summed it up. But of course, we need to look further into the future and stay positive, but also do some concrete steps. In order to create solutions for the future, we need to work on them today. And we would have liked to do this already today, such a hybrid multi-hub event. Unfortunately, the Netherlands has moved into a next lockdown since this week, but we're staying with you virtually and we're really taking it in the next year with a great outlook. So I think it's a great moment to have an outlook for the next steps and to start this alliance.
So thank you, Olga and Tadeja, for hosting this session. It's very informative, and I'm pleased that already some of the session cities have joined. Thank you, Glenn, Ottawa, for joining us and taking the same co-host lead in this initiative. Roman from Prague, and Olivier and Adrian from Geneva. Thank you. I see James not around here anymore, but I want to thank James as well for participating in this session. And of course, Janet, who takes us to the next level. So rest me to say cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
And to ourselves.
Cheers.
To the new beginning.
Thank you.
And wishing you a happy holidays, all of you. And seeing you in the early beginning of next year.
Happy
Cheers.
holidays, everyone. Thank you
Cheers.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
And
Bye
take
bye.
care. Bye-bye.